forgot the level wasn't over yet. But that's okay, the swing part is like 4-star difficulty. Okay. I'm glad I didn't take my hand off the mouse there. That would have been embarrassing. That's alright. 174 attempts. I'll call this an insane demon, but it's pretty borderline, I would say. If this were a hard demon, I wouldn't be too pissed, but it's probably leaning more towards insane demon because it's kind of learny. It's got some high CPS parts here and there. That's not stuff I struggle with, especially at this difficulty of level. But I thought this level was really fun. I mean, historically, I've had some Loltad levels that I have not enjoyed, but there have been others that I found extremely fun, and this falls into the extremely fun category. I think one thing Loltad does very well with gameplay is including sort of motifs that are based on the music, like the sort of like fast bursts and the click patterns based around those in this song. I think Loltad syncs those up very well. I like the repetition in the click patterns, but it's still different as far as how the actual gameplay is. It's different combinations of the same click pattern. I think Loltad has always done a very good job at that, and I think that it really shows here. Another example is Auroral Bloom. I think does that phenomenally as well in the first drop part of that. I think a lot of that shows here as well. Just one of the pros of Loltad's gameplay style. But yeah, I thought this was very fun. I mean, as far as gameplay issues are concerned, I mean, maybe the camera was a little bit poor in the last part. It's fairly zoomed in, and maybe it should be a bit broader, especially since there are a few orbs that are off screen a bit when you get to them, namely just the last orb and the other one blue orb not too far before that. But it's not that big a deal because you're going to practice this. That last part in general as well, it's really just you click the orbs and there's not much depth to the part beyond that. So maybe a little bit more could be desired from there, but nothing bad. It's all plays very well, and I thought this was extremely enjoyable. As far as the visuals are concerned, it's definitely different from Loltad's previous outputs because a lot of Loltad's previous levels, especially their more recent levels, have sort of been art design levels where they'll use the typical design style blocks and stuff, but create a scenery that's based around art style. I think Dust Mutcher and Flush are great examples of that and how they've done that well. And this definitely strays from that to be more arty and less designy, but not arty in a polished way, more arty in a CW 2003 style of way, which is interesting. It's kind of how I've seen Loltad shift their focus in 2.2 in general, mainly through their mega collab parts. I've kind of noticed that as a trend. They have been going farther from traditional design style and morphing that into, you know, a sort of atmosphere and setting, and taking more art-based but less polished approach. Although obviously this is still polished. It's about as polished as the style can get when you're using mostly Rob Top objects for the textures and the base designs, and there's not really too much layering beyond that. It's not really the approach for creating that appeals to me the most, and I think that part of what makes CW's levels really stand out is that they're weird and they're very surrealist, and you're not really supposed to take them seriously. And while that doesn't apply to this level, but also that doesn't make it bad by any means. It's just not really the style that really resonates with me. I think that it definitely improves in the second half, where you can see a lot more creativity start to seep in, because it's not just a setting-based area. It's sort of becoming more surrealist, and there's a lot of more like monsters and really trippy atmosphere, and I think that's where the level is better, and the previous parts, which are just focused on the scenery. And I think that I wish, part of why I wish the camera was bigger in the last part is because I feel like there could have been some more done there. I liked all the little dragon creatures that fly on screen. It was very dynamic, and I think that's one thing that this level does well. It's in all parts. It has just enough motion throughout the entire level. It doesn't interfere with the gameplay, but the level still feels very alive, whether it be in the village town or the mountain town or the trippier parts. I think the level feels very alive, and I think that's something that Loltad has always done pretty well with. But yeah, I just think maybe that increasing the zoom at the last part really could have given some more room for these sort of like dragon creatures to be flying around, and maybe could have created a few more set pieces as well with the expanded camera. But again, I don't know exactly what all went into this. Maybe that just wouldn't have worked with the vision Loltad had for the part. Overall, I do think this is a very solid level. It's not personally my favorite Loltad level. I would say I personally am more partial to the way that levels like Flush, Aurora Bloom, and even Bad Trip, I would say, are designed in a way that appeals to me more, but that certainly isn't to say this is a bad level. I would expect this to get epic rated. I would be surprised if it doesn't, because for the style it goes for, it pulls it off about as well as you can. And I am very excited to see what else Loltad comes up with in 2.2, because I feel like they're a very, very creative creator, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to their output. I mean, I recorded this the day it came out, as soon as I had the time to play GD, so I think that should show. I'm excited for future Loltad drops, but yeah, GG's.